Yo, what's up guys? Hey, Adam and Daniel here at JBWeld.com. Shooting a quick how-to video on how to install lenses into your housing, whether it be the water jet Lexan lenses that we sell or the original lenses from the factory. This will work for both of them there. Okay. Now, as far as how you do it, and there's a million different ways to get to an end, right? And I'm sure people watching this have probably done it a number of different ways successfully. This is simply what I've done to create success. And at this point, I've probably restored a little over 200 clusters, and I've had way above average success rate on just getting these to stay in there without having any issue. So that being said, here's what I use. All right. So as far as materials, cleaning, let's see. So first, IPA or isopropyl alcohol. I always say that incorrectly. So this is 99%, and I dilute it down to 70% using distilled water. So there's that. Let's see, Q-tips, and this right here, I should say these right here are little disposable, let's see, micro applicators. They're like little paintbrushes, and I've used these to touch up clusters as well, but I'm using this to apply the JB Weld, and you can use something like this or a toothpick if you don't have something like this, but it's got to be really, really tiny, and you'll see when I do it on here why. As far as the type of JB Weld that I use, so I don't like using the plastic JB Weld. I found that the, what is this, like the, let's see, it's a multi-purpose ClearWeld, and I like this because when it dries clear. The plastic, I find, has a little hue to it, and if you get any of it on the lens or in front, it just, you can really see it, and that's just no bueno for me. I don't like using super glue or any other little adhesive like that, because they can come loose and you have to use more to use it. You have to use more to get it to stick, and it just basically sets you up for the possibility of having runs and other issues. And again, it's just, these are my preferences here, okay? Let's see, I use heavy sockets, 3 heavy sockets here, and these guys I just haven't cleaned up, and these are basically what I put on top of the lenses after I put them in here. Let's see, these little files, I get these on Amazon. This is an 80 grit, but it's flush. And you'll see why I use these here in a little bit as well. All right, so there's this. All right, now the cluster itself, when it comes down time to put it up here, I have this setup that I've been using for a long time that is my go-to, and I know that it's balanced 100% of the time, but even though I know it's balanced, I still balance it every single time just to make sure. Because if you stick a Lexan lens, or let's say that you have spent a ton of time restoring your cluster, and now you're about ready to go put your lens in, and you have just a slight angle, and as it's starting to come down, you get this little funny run. I tell you what, that's enough to make your brain explode. And I hate when my brain explodes. So what I do every single time is I balance this thing. Okay, so that's it. So every single time this is balanced out. And that's it. So moving on over here. Okay, first starting with my 80 grit file right here. There's 4 nodules here that originally came from the factory, and that's what the original Lexan lens, or excuse me, that's what the original lens fit on, or basically clamped onto there. So if yours are still there, you want to file those down flush. Now, I would not recommend using a Dremel. You may be the world's greatest at dremeling, and it might be perfect for you. However, if you're using your Dremel and you just nick this just a little bit, or you come down a little too far, and you put your lens on, you're going to be able to see that from the front. And again, no bueno for me. So we're kind of looking for protection, or for perfection. So from here, essentially what I like to do is take this file, and you want to just run it back and forth and just get that nub down flat, and that's it. It's pretty straightforward. It's time consuming, it's annoying, but that's what I do. Okay, now I do the same thing with this one here, so the lower and the upper. And so all you're looking to do is get this flush. All right. Now, you're getting them flush. However, what you're also doing is you're roughing up the surface, okay? So what you want is you want something for the JB Weld to grab onto. If this is nice and smooth, you're reducing your chances of success simply because it doesn't have anything to grab onto here, okay? So again, just basically keep working this out until it's nice and flush, okay? So everything around it nice and smooth, nice and flush, as perfect as it can possibly be there, all right? So from there, moving to, or I should say before I get on to the next step, just to give you a little insight on a couple things I do that help reinforce the inside, because the HV, you know, these little I'm going to call them nodules or what have you, they break all the time. So these are little things I do that help reinforce it so that they don't break. So I just take a little piece of ABS right here, and just from there I take a 3D pen and essentially weld it on. And I'll show in the future all these other things that I do here. But just for now, these are little things I do to kind of help create a little bit of integrity, or I should say increase the integrity and strength of those little nodules right there. So, all right, so there's that. All right, now going to my Q-tips, cleaning this with your 70% IPA will clean most of the contaminants. The way that I prefer is to wash it with soap and water, then move to Windex. After that, or not Windex, but rather glass cleaner, the ammonia-free stuff. So basically after that, then I move on to the IPA. And your goal is to rid the cluster of contaminants as much as you possibly can. This is a 40-year-old plastic cluster, and it is the ultimate catching mitt for contaminants. And if you have contaminants in there, it's going to possibly interrupt your success of keeping these connected, or I should say keeping the lenses attached, etc. In fact, that's why I glass bead the entire housing, to get rid of all the original paint so that I'm starting with a fresh surface there. So, all right, so starting off with my 70% IPA, I'm just cleaning. All right, let's see. Now, there's only 4. I'm only going to put 4. All right, so I don't get ahead of myself. You don't want this to run down onto your paint. Now, if you have fresh paint, this can leave a nice little line down your paint, and again, the brain blowing up analogy there. All right, so try not to put so much. What I basically do is I have this little cup, and I take my Q-tip. Let's see if I can get this here. Okay, tap my Q-tip in, and then I basically squeegee it on the side of this, and then from there work my way over and go to cleaning. Okay, now I'm going to go through multiple Q-tips. You'll see basically what I'm looking to do here shortly. All right, so we're going to keep cutting through Q-tips, and eventually we're going to get to the point where we're doing one fresh for the last one. Okay, so see all this garbage coming off of it? All right, I promise I'll get better, guys. All right, so see all this crud coming off? This is going to stop the the ability of your JB Weld to hold these lenses in place here, okay? So it's got to all come off. So just keep on keeping on, guys. Okay, now when I scrub on it for a while and I get nothing coming up, where the hell is that? There it is. Okay, so when I scrub on it for a while and nothing is coming up, that's when I know, okay, good. Then I can grab a fresh one. All right, dip, squeegee, and it's just like painting. So this will be the last time I put this on here. And now throw that away, grab a new one. Tell you what's a whole lot easier freaking just doing instead of trying to talk and explain. So, alright, so keep scrubbing. Okay, nothing coming off, so again, squeegee. Okay. Trying to get a close-up of this. So even though it looks clean, I'm still getting a little bit of contaminant on this one side. So just keep on rocking until you get nothing off of there. I should probably buy stock in Q-tips because of how many we go through. Oh, speaking of Q-tips, there's several other brands of Q-tips or Cotton Swabs, or they call them all kinds of other things. However, I find that the off brands have a lot less material on the end, and they might as well be little daggers, okay? And they just wear out really quickly. So I only use the name brand Q-tip on this because of the additional padding that they come with. If you guys know of other brands that work better, awesome, let me know, because I'd love to know what those are. All right, so, all right, perfect. All right, nothing coming off. All right, so officially this is clean and ready to go. Now I like to let it outgas. Okay, so I give it about 20-30 minutes for this to outgas and completely dry. Because whatever chemical reaction is happening now in those corners right there, we don't want to put our fresh JB Weld on top of that. Okay, so from there, all right, what I'm going to do is, this is a cluster that I'm currently working on restoring here for a customer. So this is a test cluster that before I paint, when I go out and spray, I always kind of practice on this just to kind of get my rhythm, get myself into play here. So I'm going to show you on this basically what I do. All right, now I got a little trick here. My battery's dying, so let me move faster. Okay, so from here, let's see. It really does not take very much at all. I'll just make sure that you get somewhat equal parts, and this is 10 times as much as you really need to do this job. So I just went a little crazy on this. All right. And I have other things I use this for as well in the future. I'll show you here. All right, so real quick, just mix it until you get like a milky look to it. And yes, I overly obsess with mixing this together because I hate when you don't get it to stick, or I should say mixed all the way. Alright, that's pretty good. Alright, now here's the reason I like this little applicator. Alright, let's bring this back. Okay, so using this tiny applicator, let's see. I always clean off the excess before I start doing this here. So just clean off your excess, and from here you just get a dab, and I mean literally a dab. You're not trying to go crazy with this. Let's see, make sure you see it. All right, and I do just the outside corner, okay? Literally the outside corner of this. It does not take a lot. It doesn't take a lot at all. Okay, this is a really strong, and I only put it in four places here: top, bottom, and on the sides. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. And the biggest mistake I've seen, or I should say the biggest mistake I've made, because I'll be honest, in my humble opinion, the best way to get good at something is to really screw up a ton of times on it. So here I am. All right. Remember, this is after the 30 minutes of outgassing. Let it outgas. Let the chemical reactions do what they need to do. Okay, let's see. Let's see if I can get this close to you. Holy cow, this is difficult. All right. See how little I put on there? It doesn't take a lot, okay? That's why I like to use the stronger product here, okay? Let's see, back in place. Now, again, if you're using the original Lexan lenses, you got to clean that same surface right there. Okay, so let me go back down. You got to clean that right around where it touches too, because again, this is 40 plus years old as well, and it's got contaminants in there. Okay, if you're using one of our Lexan lenses, okay, then at this point just peel one of them off. Okay, and I'm not going to put it on, just so you know. Peel this off, set it on, and when you set it on, don't touch it. Leave it alone. Leave it exactly where it's at. Okay, I promise you, you keep moving around, you're going to get a little bit of glue in front. Just take your time, find a happy spot as far as how you're going to put it on. Bring your hand up, done. Do not touch it anymore. Okay, and from there, take your socket, set it on top, leave it alone. Okay, now this is 5-minute epoxy. However, it seems to take a little longer than that. So I do all 3 of those. Okay, and then I take all the Lexan lenses, or I take all the lenses and I put them on. Okay, and then I put sockets all the way across it. Okay, now the question is, how do you know when it's dry? Because even though it's supposed to be 5 minutes, it's not always 5 minutes. Sometimes it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and this stuff can go bad. So my little test is I take the little applicator, see if I can do this, and I put it in the JB Weld, and voila, I leave it there. Now, every couple minutes, or I should say, I set a timer, and then about every 5 minutes I come back and I try to pick it up. And my goal is to break, is it to be so tight that I break the applicator. Okay, so I leave this on, this little pad here, and when it starts to harden up, I'll be able to pull this up and it will break. Okay, and at that point, you know it's strong enough that you can take off your, you can take the sockets off or whatever weights that you have on there, and they're in there for good. However, it does not mean that you can take it and just, you know, put excess pressure on the other side. You should avoid putting additional pressure. So what I like to do is, if anything needs to be done to the lens on the opposite side, is I put one finger here, putting down pressure. Hopefully you can see all this. And the other hand, I'll come up, and if I need to clean this or do anything additional to this side, I'll always keep pressure on my finger on this side right here. Okay, and this will take at least 24 hours for it to cure. So that's it, guys. Hopefully this helps you out, and this is basically what I do in the beginning of multiple videos showing you how I do what I do. All right, thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. Have a great day, guys. Take care. Hey guys, quick video for anybody who has been interested, or I should say is interested, in knowing exactly what a Lexan lens looks like. So to say they're clear would be an understatement. And they actually have a bit of a magnifying effect. So it, if you have any issues seeing your gauges at night, you might want to consider trying these out. The video I just shot, pretty straightforward. If you have any questions, just reach out. But these are it, guys. I'm a big fan of these Lexan lenses, so if you have any questions about them, don't hesitate to reach out. All right, thanks again.